Well, Rob Beveridge joins us, the coach of the Wildcats, and sitting on top of the tree. Pressure comes with being on top. Rob, everyone now will be trying to knock you over.
Yeah, it seems that way, but we're trying to keep the guys level-headed and understand that we're playing very well at home, but the challenge is how do we go on the road?
Well, we did speak to you last week, of course, and you're looking forward to this clash against Wollongong. You said and stated that this is the testing material, and to come away with that 87 win, how satisfying was it, 87-80 on the weekend?
It was just fantastic, and it was a very, very physical game, a game where Brad Robbins actually had his nose splattered across his face, and that probably instigated our team to really go to a different level, and probably more so the crowd. It was just an unbelievable atmosphere at Challenge Stadium.
Rob, did you set out to recruit some hard nuts like Robbins and Damien Martin and Lish and that, or is it just how it turned out? No,
that was the whole thing, was trying to target people that were hard-nosed, would never take a backward step, uncompromising type of players. And I'd coached Damien Martin and Brad Robbins with our national team and over the past few years, and just the style of game that I play is a lot of pressure defence, and we want to break teams' backs, and you need to have players that are just totally committed to what you want to do.
Is it as simple as saying that they're just starting to gel now, that you're starting to hit your straps? You've won 4 in a row at home and going for 5?
Yeah, we are. Because we have been home for the past month, we do get the extra training sessions in rather than where you lose a day or two when you travel. Everybody's comfortable. You can do the extra work, and there's no doubt from a team cohesion perspective, which I felt we were lacking the first 3 games. It's really coming along nicely.
You're an experienced man, well-travelled. What sort of things do you take on the road as coach? I mean, do you have to approach it different mentally? How do you work that way?
Well, all I try and do is get the players to keep focused on every single training session, every game, enormous amount of accountability, and you challenge the players to be the best they can, and you actually put it back on them saying, okay, well, what do you want to do to be the best player? And they might come out and say, well, I want to be a good three-point shooter, I want to be good at this, and what my job is to challenge them and put programs in place that forces them to get better. But it all comes down to putting them in an environment where you've got great people around and support them. That's pretty much what I try and do for them.
Is part of your tactics to target the best player on the opposition team, a bit like you tried to take McKee out of the game on the weekend? He still scored 19 points, but he was far different from round 1 when he pumped you.
Yeah, the 19 points that he scored probably would have been the hardest 19 points that he's ever scored in his life. And just the way we got after him. And I think if you cut the head off the leader, that's when they struggle, and that's what we've done in the past when we targeted John Gilchrist from Adelaide. We just took him out of the game and they were nothing. I felt we did a very good job on Mark Worthington, made him really work hard, and the same with McKee. And I think this week we'll have to do the same with CJ Bruton and Kirk Penny.
Did you see that comment from Wortho when he was being interviewed by Andrew Gaze the other week? Did you see that one, Rob, when they just got up in the last minutes? I can't remember, and he said something like, the sun shines on a dog's ARSE once a year or something like this. He must have been really tired. He was like confused or something.
Oh, good on you, Wortho.
You'd love to have him back one day, but he's a West Aussie, isn't he? You'd love to have him back.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, I get along fantastic with Wortho. He's actually a terrific guy. He's soul of the earth off the court. But then he's got white line fever. When he gets on that court, he turns into a bit of an animal, and not too many people like him. But I'd have him back here in a heartbeat.
How come we haven't been able to entice him back home? Is it come down to the dollar, does it, Rob?
Yeah, a lot. Well, he left for the dollar.
Yep.
He went away, and it was probably a situation where when he came back from the USA, he was offered an enormous amount of money, and then trying to get him back here, that's probably what it's going to take. And however, the situation the league's in, I wasn't prepared to bust the salary cap or do anything like that to get him back. And so what we need to do is put a program in place that players actually do want to come back. And I've spoken to Mark, and he said one day his goal is to play back home in Perth and play in front of his family and things like that. And right now he's expecting his first child back in Melbourne, so that also influenced him to stay in Melbourne. So, we wish him all the best, and however, when we play him again, we won't. We'll get after him like we did last time.
How important is it for the competition to have a powerful Sydney team, do you think, going forward?
I've got mixed reactions on that because I coached Sydney the last 2 years. I lived in Sydney for 12 years, involved with all the elite development, and I would love to see a team in Sydney. There is an enormous amount of participation around the associations, but at the same time, I'm a little bit disgruntled that Sydney may not deserve a team unless they pull their finger out and actually go and support basketball. If they can do support the way Perth gets supported, it could be really special.
There's no doubt about that. And until you think it'll get back to that, to being that sort of national competition that we all want?
Yeah, I do. I think because it has been taken away from Sydney, and I think deservedly so. Now that it's not there, I think the people in Sydney actually really miss it, and they'll be very hungry to try and get a Sydney team back. And I really do hope that does happen because there's some great talent in that New South Wales area that don't have too many options now.
How are you going to beat the Breakers at Challenge Stadium on Sunday?
That's a good question. They are the number one team as far as I'm concerned. They've had a few ups and downs and things like that, but they are the probably tipped to be the number one team, and they've got the most experience out of any team in the league. Tony Rawlinson's played 650-odd games. CJ Bruton's an Olympian. Same with Kirk Penny, was the MVP. You just go down the whole list of their players, and nearly every single player has represented their country, whether it's New Zealand or Australia, at an Olympic Games or World Championships. So they definitely are. I keep saying there's benchmarks there, but each week you look at if you're going to win a championship, you've got to beat the best teams, and I think that New Zealand's definitely one of those teams that we have to beat.
Terrific, mate. Thanks very much for sharing some time tonight.
No worries at all.
Rob Beveridge. Now, Wildcats fans, if you would like to win a couple of tickets, a family pass we've got to watch the Wildcats, we've got two lots of them. Be callers 7 and 8 right now, and 922 118 82.